Everybody, and welcome to our weekly webinar about all things HR. My name is Bron Pearson from Pinnacle People Solutions, and this evening I'm coming to you from the U&E Centre in Tamworth. I've had the privilege today of being involved in the Entrepreneurship Leverage Program through the Smart Regional Incubator at the School of Business at the University of New England. So delightful to be coming to you this afternoon from the U&E Centre in Tamworth. Okay, so thank you and welcome to those who are joining us for the first time and to those who have become regulars in our Wednesday webinar series about all things HR. Our company, Pinnacle People Solutions, provides solutions, support, advice and services for human resource matters to regionally based, small to medium-sized enterprises and not-for-profit organisations. We are here to help you and your business, of course, to adapt and to thrive. So you can contact myself and my wonderful team anytime via Facebook, of course, email or telephone, or visit our website at www.pinnaclepeoplesolutions, all lowercase, all one word, .com.au. So, as a continuation of our COVID-19 employer advisories that we've been running for the majority of this year now, each Wednesday evening, I should say, at 5:30 p.m, we are doing and have been doing a deep dive into a particular HR topic to provide information and insights on topics of interest to regional business. If you have anything you'd particularly like to hear about, don't hesitate to get in touch. And in fact, all of our topics that we've covered and series that we've undertaken so far this year have been in response overwhelmingly to the feedback that we've had from clients and also from those out there in the regions. And good evening to everybody joining us. And so we'd love to hear from you and to make sure that we're providing you with information and topics that are relevant to you and to your business. If you're watching this evening on Facebook, you can subscribe to receive notifications of when we're going live on Facebook by clicking the bell icon in the top right corner of your screen. You will never miss a HR update or webinar from us ever again. So if that appeals to you, go ahead and click that bell icon in the top right corner of your screen. So today's topic. So I want to introduce the beginning of a new topic series called Returning to the Workplace. And tonight, so over the next 3 weeks, we're going to be looking in detail at this topic, a topic that is only going to grow and has been growing exponentially in the minds of business owners, managers and their staff. How do we get back to the workplace after a pandemic? We're still in the middle of one, so obviously as we're moving through this, what does it look like? And how can the situation be managed for maximum benefit to everyone involved, as well as dealt with, of course, lawfully and compassionately? So tonight we'll be thinking about what is happening and what is next. What has changed in the last 9 months? For a lot of us, significant things have shifted in that time. How are our employees, our managers, government, and all our other stakeholders feeling about getting back into the workplace? What does the workplace look like now? What are the consequences of the various options that we have, both for individual businesses and for the economy and for society at large? Next week, we'll go through what options are available to you for your business to evolve. And in the final week of this mini-series, this 3-week series that we're going to be undertaking, I'll be sharing the actual steps involved in getting back to the workplace, both by employers and employees, and what essential legal and practical considerations that you need to make sure that you've taken into account. Okay, so let's, for this evening's webinar, have a look at the context. I'd like to do that by sharing with you the story of what happened in our business, Pinnacle People Solutions. So on the 16th of March this year, we literally moved out of our offices in the Armidale Business Centre in Armidale, literally overnight. We're fortunate that we're a business that is largely paperless. We established the company that way, so we moved to working from home. On the 16th of March, literally we did that overnight, and we anticipated a review on the 31st of March, but 2020 of course had other plans. We continued to work remotely and didn't return to the office space, and even when we did it in a very graduated way until early August, following months of juggling homeschooling with home more broadly and work obligations and assisting our clients remotely. Where we were not alone. Many of our clients were doing this, and in March 2020, 66% of New South Wales employees were working only from home, exclusively from home. That's 66% of workers. Restrictions, of course, began to be eased in June, but in September of this year, 40% of days of work still were only at home. Recently, of course, we've had the Prime Minister and the Attorney General making it really clear that they want offices and businesses to start to bring people back, particularly in central business districts and towns, due to the flow-on effect to other businesses. And just as off the top of my head, cleaners, food, retail, transport, etc., have all suffered terribly. We all have, but those support services and organisations have really suffered as CBDs and city centres and town centres have emptied. Public service employees in New South Wales and of course federally are now transitioning back to offices with flexible working arrangements and in accordance with public health orders. A myriad of articles and opinion pieces in the media have continued to proliferate. We've got things coming out all of the time expressing different views. So we've heard the research that workers want to continue working from home. 81% want to carry on in some capacity with working from home. That's a significant number of our workforce who are expressing that need. Workers are enjoying not having to commute. In fact, there's been a massive reduction in people feeling pressed for time, particularly families, even with the dual requirements of homeschooling and home-based responsibilities going up in that time. Workers have largely reported being more productive at home. It turns out, who knew, that we can trust them to do work without someone having to look over their shoulder all the time. And of course, what does that mean for the future of middle management as a profession? These are some of the vast number of questions that are coming forward about what the future of the workplace more broadly looks like. We're also receiving information through the research that workers are sick of working from home. Indeed, that working from home makes it harder to collaborate and have spontaneous ideas and connections that a workplace otherwise provides. Some workers are struggling to separate work life from home life. And mental health is suffering. 50% of workers working from home have reported increased stress, depression, and self-harm. We've also found through the research that has been undertaken across the globe that workers don't want to wear office attire anymore. In fact, leisure wear clothing retail sector profits are up 3.3% this year so far in 2020. Working from home with kids is really hard, like super difficult. And that's an overwhelming piece of feedback that the research has attracted. Women have been particularly badly affected with higher levels of insecure work, meaning that casual fixed-term contracts, independent contractor arrangements have meant that their work has been much more disrupted. Plus, there's been an increase in the amount of household labour from women. Men also, of course, have done more, but not as much of an impact as it has been for women. And workers at home put in more hours without getting paid more. And in fact, an ACTU survey found that 40% were working more than usual and almost none were being paid for it. So that's another interesting statistic coming out of the changes to the way that we've been working in 2020. So there are lots of things, therefore, for all of us as business owners, managers and staff to be thinking about and considering. Amongst them, here's some of the things that we would encourage you to start thinking about. What does your business need to do to operate at maximum efficiency? Do you have the right employees doing the right jobs in your business? Really important fundamental questions. What has the pandemic exposed about my business? What are the weaknesses and strengths in my business? What do I need to do to build on those strengths and manage or eliminate the weaknesses that the pandemic and changes, radical changes to the way we work, what have they revealed about my business? What costs have I saved or have I spent this year having employees working remotely or working in very different ways to how they might normally work with your business? How does my business feed into my local economy? Will having employees back on site support the businesses around us, including landlords, property managers, cafes, restaurants, and food and other service providers? What do my employees want? What are my employees entitled to? And particular here, I'm thinking about the flexible working requests that can be made under the Fair Work Act and the National Employment Standards, as well as under modern awards. And finally, but by no means lastly, what are my work health and safety obligations, either in the office or at home? And am I meeting those? The next big question is, how do employers and employees bring all of this information and potentially competing desires together to make a plan for the future? How do you do that for your particular business? That's something that we want to unpack further. Now that we've whet your appetite, we're going to be delving into this in great detail in the next 2 weeks in this webinar series on returning to the workplace. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. This video will remain on Facebook. It'll be up in LinkedIn, YouTube, and on our website if you'd like to catch up or watch it again later, or indeed recommend colleagues or friends or family members watch it. And we'll also, as we always do, be producing a fact sheet based on the information provided that you'll be able to download from our website shortly. You can also sign up for a weekly digest of our Wednesday webinar, the associated fact sheet, and Monday news update to be delivered to your inbox every Tuesday by signing up for that on our website. And a reminder that from next week, we'll be posting a summary of the important news from the last week, both COVID related and of course general HR, to Facebook and our website as text from next week rather than as a Monday update video. So watch out for that. Next week, we really encourage you to join us again. We'd love to see you again at 5:30 next Wednesday for the next instalment of our Return to the Workplace strategy series, How Do We Evolve? We'll start getting down into the tin tacks of that and make sure that as business owners, managers and staff that you understand what your obligations and entitlements are. In the meantime, please hug the people that you can. Please wave cheerily at those that you yet can't. Stay safe. Stay socially distant, keep up that fantastic hand hygiene, and we'll really look forward to seeing you next Wednesday for our next Wednesday webinar. Thank you. Have a great evening.